Hello, hello. Welcome to the stream. We are going to continue reading The Hunger Games. Interesting stream though, as I'm also live on TikTok. Yeah, we're kind of in the middle of a book, unfortunately, but this is my first time doing a multi-stream on TikTok and on Twitch. So thank you all for checking out my channel and everything. I'm trying to broaden my horizons. I think this is going to be the year of me trying out the whole multi-stream deal. See where we're at the end of the year. And then yeah. So we are going to read chapters 16 through 20 of The Hunger Games. Last time on the broadcast of the audiobook, Katniss and Rue teamed up to drop some Geneva Convention illegal bees onto some tributes and killed them. Only 2, I think. So yeah, we're gonna continue chapter 16 through 20. We're gonna do 5 chapters, and hopefully, the goal is to read, Mockingjay, Catching Fire, Mockingjay, and then Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, and then Sunset on the Reaping, where the movie of Sunset on the Reaping is in November. So I'm thinking like maybe we do 5 chapters at a time, and then just see where we're at by November. November 20th, I think, is the movie of when it's coming out. So yeah, let's get the show on the road. We'll do the 3-minute ad here in a minute. So everyone here is going to see the 3 minutes. I'm going to show everyone on TikTok the cool little environment that I am in reading this. And yeah, let's just get this 3-minute ad out of the way. So stay with me. Thank you. Okay. So, ads are about to hit. There we go. So for TikTok viewers, we have, let's see, this is my first time messing around with this. I wish I could use both windows, but I have something special. So we have this. Yeah, hold on. There we go. Hello, hello. So this is my little pad, my little place here that I'm hanging out. This is me with a copy of The Hunger Games, the book that I'm reading. And yeah, we'll have a little bit of another skeleton help to help us with moving the dramatization that is on YouTube that we are going to play. Probably within a chapter or 2. Maybe like halfway. Yeah, I would say like maybe within 2 chapters we'll watch the dramatization and see where we're at. But if y'all don't know, TikTok audience, we have this little guy that's gonna help push the display here. He's gonna help us, and everyone on Twitch, you know him, you love him, Buddy. Yep, that is Buddy right there. I love him. I love Buddy. Okay. I wish like this whole vertical thing kind of mirrors exactly the screen on the OBS, and I have to do it separately from OBS and vertical OBS. Anyway, so we are going to bring up Buddy here. Come on now, Buddy. There you are. Okay. So thank you, Buddy. Is it 14? Yeah. Bye, Buddy. Okay. So. Oh, wait. Oh, he appears. Okay, so he appears and disappears if I drop him. Okay, interesting. So it matches that. like nothing else. Interesting. Okay. So Buddy here helped push the cart here, which is nice. So tell everyone bye, Buddy. Bye bye. Okay. So here we have the video, the feature presentation, and just a hint at what it is. It's the Hunger Games, but better. Right? We play a little bit of Hunger Games, but better with each chapter that we read. And then, yeah. So we'll have Buddy turn that on later. But in the meantime, let us get in. Let's get in. Okay. This is the Hunger Games. Chapter 16. Where were we? The last words of the last chapter was, "We're going to have to fix that, Rue." Okay. Chapter 16. Rue has decided to trust me wholeheartedly. I know this because as soon as the anthem finishes, she snuggles up against me and falls asleep. Nor do I have any misgivings about her, as I take no particular precautions. If she'd wanted me dead, all she would have had to do was disappear from the tree without pointing out the Tracker Jacker's nest. Needling me at the very back of my mind is the obvious. Both of us can't win these games, but since the odds are still against either of us surviving, I managed to ignore the thought. Besides, I'm distracted by the latest idea about the careers and their supplies. Somehow, Rue and I must find a way to destroy their food. I'm pretty sure feeding themselves will be a tremendous struggle. Traditionally, the careers' tributes strategy is to get hold of all the food early on and work from there. The years when they have not protected it well, one year a pack of hideous reptiles destroyed it, another a game maker's flood washed it away. Those are usually the years that tributes from other districts have won. That the careers have been better fed growing up is actually to their disadvantage, because they don't know how to be hungry. Not the way Rue and I do. But I'm too exhausted to begin any detailed plan tonight. My wounds recovering, my mind still a bit foggy from the venom, and the warmth of Rue at my side, her head cradled on my shoulder, have given me a sense of security. I realize for the first time how very lonely I've been in the arena, how comforting the presence of another human being can be. I give in to my drowsiness, resolving that tomorrow that the tables will turn. Tomorrow, it's the careers who will have to watch their backs. The boom of the cannon jolts me awake. The sky is streaked with light, the birds already chattering. Rue perches in a branch across from me, and her hands cupping something. We wait, listening for more shots, but there aren't any. Who do you think that was? I can't help thinking of PETA. I don't know. Could have been a lot of the others, says Rue. I guess we'll know tonight. Who's left again? I ask. The boy from District 1, both tributes from 2, the boy from 3, Thresh and me, and you and PETA, says Rue. That's 8. Wait, and the boy from 10, the one with a bad leg. He makes 9. There's something else, but neither of us can remember who it is. I wonder how that last one died, says Rue. No telling, but it's good for us. A death should hold the crowd for a bit. Maybe we'll have time to do something before the game makers decide things have been moving too slowly, I say. What's in your hands? Breakfast, says Rue. She holds them out, revealing 2 big eggs. What kind are those? I ask. Not sure. There's a marshy area over that way. Some kind of water bird, she says. It'd be nice to cook them, but neither of us want to risk a fire. My guess is the tribute who died today was a victim of the careers, which means they've recovered enough to be in the games. We each snuck out insides of each egg. Eat a rabbit, leg, and some berries. It's a good breakfast anywhere. Ready to do it, I say, pulling on my pack. Do what? Says Rue. But by the way she bounces up, you can tell she's up for whatever I propose. Today we take out the career's food, I say. Really? How? You can see the glint of excitement in her eyes. In this way, she's exactly the opposite of Prim, for whom adventures are an ordeal. No idea. Come on, we'll figure out a plan while we hunt, I say. We don't get much hunting done, though, because I'm too busy getting every scrap of information I can out of Rue about the career's base. She's only been in to spy on them briefly, but she's observant. They have set up their camp beside the lake. Their supply stash is about 30 yards away. During the day, they've been leaving another tribute, the boy from District 3, to watch over the supplies. The boy from District 3? I ask. He's working with them? Yes, he stays at the camp full time. He got stung, too, when they drew the tracker jackers out of by the lake, says Rue. I guess they agreed to let him live if he acted as their guard. But he's not very big. What weapons does he have, I ask. Not much that I could see. A spear. He might be able to hold a few of us off with that. But Thresh could kill him easily, says Rue. And the food's just out in the open, I say. She nods. Something's not quite right about that whole setup. I know, but I couldn't tell what exactly, says Rue. Katniss, even if you could get to the food, how would you get rid of it? Burn it. Dump it in the lake. Soak it into fuel. I poke Rue in the belly, just like I would Prem. Eat it. She giggles. Don't worry, I'll think of something. Destroying things is much easier than making them. For a while, we dig roots, we gather berries and greens, we devise a strategy in hushed voices, and I come to know Rue, the oldest of 6 kids, fiercely protective of her siblings, who give her rations to the younger ones, who forages in the meadows in the district where the peacekeepers are far less obliging than others. Rue, who, when you ask her what she loves the most in the world, she replies of all things, music. Music, I say. In our world, I rank music somewhere between hair ribbons and rainbows in terms of usefulness. At least a rainbow gives you a tip about the weather. You have a lot of time for that? We sing at home. At work too. That's why I love your pin, she says, pointing to the mockingjay that I've again forgotten about. You have mockingjays, I ask? Oh yes, I have a few that are my special friends. We can sing back and forth for hours. They carry messages from me, she says. What do you mean, I say. I'm usually up highest, so I'm the first to see the flag that signals quitting time. There's a special little song I do, says Rue. She opens her mouth and sings a little four-note run in a sweet, clean voice. And the mockingjays spread it around the orchard. That's how everyone knows the knockoff, she continues. They can be dangerous, though, if you get too near their nests. But you can't blame them for that. I unclasp the pin and hold it out to her. Here, take it. It has more meaning for you than me. Oh no, says Rue, closing my fingers back over to the pin. I like to see it on you. That's why I decided I could trust you. Besides, I have this. She pulls a necklace woven out of some kind of grass from her shirt. On it hangs a roughly carved wooden star. Or maybe it's a flower. It's a good luck charm. Well, it's worked so far, I say, pinning the mockingjay back on my shirt. Maybe you should just stick it with that. By lunch, we have a plan. By early afternoon, we are poised to carry it out. I help Rue collect and place the wood for the first 2 campfires. The third she'll have time for on her own. We decide to meet afterward at the site where we ate our first meal together. The stream should help guide me back to it. Before I leave, I make sure Rue's well stocked with food and matches. I even insist she take my sleeping bag in case it's possible to rendezvous by nightfall. What about you? Won't you be cold? She asks. Not if I pick up another bag down by the lake, I say. You know, stealing isn't illegal here, I say with a grin. At the last minute, Rue decides to teach me her mockingjay signal, the one she gives to indicate the day's work is done. It might not work, but if you hear the mockingjays singing it, You'll know I'm okay. Only I can get back right away. Are there many mockjays here? I ask. Haven't you seen them? They've got nests everywhere, she says. I have to admit, I haven't noticed. Okay then. If all goes according to plan, I'll see you for dinner, I say. Unexpectedly, Rue throws her arms around me. I only hesitate a moment before I hug her back. You be careful, she says to me. You too, I say. I turn and head back to the stream, feeling somehow worried about Rue being killed, about Rue not being killed, and the two of us being left for last, about leaving Rue alone, about leaving Prim alone back at home. No, Prim has my mother and Gail, and a baker who has promised she won't go hungry. Rue has only me. Once I reach the stream, I only have to follow it downhill to the place I initially picked it up after the Tracker Jackers attack. I have to be cautious as I move along the water, though, because I find the thoughts preoccupied with unanswered questions, most of which concern Peta. The cannon that fired earlier this morning, did that signify his death? If so, how did he die? At the hand of a career? And was that in revenge for letting me live? I struggle again to remember the moment over Glimmer's body when he burst through the trees. But just the fact that he was sparkling leads me to doubt everything that happened. I must have been moving very slowly yesterday because I reached the shallow stretch where I took my bath in just a few hours. I stopped to replenish my water and add a layer of mud to my backpack. It seems bent on reverting to orange no matter how many times I cover it. My proximity to the careers camp sharpens my senses, and the closer I get to them, the more guarded I am, pausing frequently to listen to unnatural sounds, an arrow already fitted into the string of my bow. I don't see any other tributes, but I do notice some of the things Rue has mentioned. Patches of the sweet berries, a bush with the leaves that healed my stings, clusters of Tracker Jacker nests in the vicinity of the tree I was trapped in, and here and there the black and white flash of a mockingjay wings in the branches high over my head. What the fuck is this? It's reading time, bud. Yeah. When I reach the tree with the abandoned nest at the foot, I pause a moment to gather my courage. Rue has given specific instructions on how to reach the best spying place near the lake for this point. Remember, I tell myself, you're the hunter now, not them. I get a firmer grasp on my bow and go on. I make it to the copse. Copse? Rue has told me about and again have to admire her cleverness. It's right at the edge of the wood, but the bushy foliage is so thick down low I can easily observe the career camp without being spotted. Between us lies the flat expanse where the games began. Alright, she's nearby the entry point, right? Okay. There are 4 tributes. The boy from District 1, Kato, and the girl from District 2, and a scrawny, ashen-skinned boy who must be from District 3. He made almost no impression on me at all during our time in the capital. I can remember almost nothing about him. Not his costume, not his training score, not his interview. Damn. Even now, as he sits there fiddling with some kind of plastic box, he's easily ignored in the presence of his large and domineering companions. But he must be some value, or they wouldn't have bothered to let him live. Still, seeing him only adds to my sense of unease over why the careers would possibly leave him as a guard, why they have allowed him to live at all. All 4 tributes seem to still be recovering from the Tracker Jacker attack. Even from here I can see the large swollen lumps on their bodies. They must not have had the sense to remove the stingers, or if they did, not know about the leaves that healed them. Apparently, whatever medicines they found in the cornucopia have been ineffective. The cornucopia sits in the original position, but its insides have been picked clean. Most of the supplies held in crates, burlap sacks, and plastic bins are piled neatly in a pyramid in what seems a questionable distance from the camp. Others are sprinkled around the perimeter of the pyramid, almost mimicking the layout of supplies around the cornucopia at the onset of the games. A canopy of netting that, aside from discouraging birds, seems to be useless shelters the pyramid itself. The whole setup is completely perplexing. The distance, the netting, and the presence of the boy from District 3. One thing's for sure, destroying those supplies is not going to be as simple as it looks. Some other factor is at play here, and I'd better stay put until I figure out what it is. My guess is that the pyramid is booby-trapped. In some manner. I think of concealed pits, descending nets, a thread that, when broken, sends a poisonous dart into your heart. Really, the possibilities are endless. While I am mulling over my options, I hear Cato shout out. He's pointing up to the woods, far beyond me, and without turning, I know that Rue must have set the first campfire. We'd made sure to gather enough green wood to make the smoke noticeable. The Criers begin to arm themselves at once. An argument breaks out. It's loud enough for me to hear that it concerns whether or not the boy from District 3 should stay or accompany them. He's coming. We need him in the woods, and his job's done here anyway. No one can touch those supplies, says Cato. What about Loverboy, says the boy from District 1. I keep telling you, forget about him. I know where I cut him. It's a miracle he hasn't bled to death yet. At any rate, he's in no shape to raid us, says Cato. Ooh. They got the dude. Drink some water? You're right. Okay. So, Peeta's just not part of the crew anymore. Like, he's just gone. He's not part of the, guys. So Peeta's out there in the woods, wounded badly, but I'm still in the dark on what motivated him to betray the Criers. Come on, says Cato. He thrusts a spear into the hands of the boy from District 3, and they head off in the direction of the fire. The last thing I hear as they enter the woods is Cato saying, when we find her, I kill her in my own way, and no one interferes. Ugh. Somehow I don't think he's talking about Rue. She didn't drop a nest of tracker jackers on him. I stay put for a half an hour or so trying to figure out what to do about the supplies. The one advantage I have with the bow and arrow is distance. I can send a flaming arrow into the pyramid easily enough. I'm a good enough shot to get it through those openings in the net. But there's no guarantee it would catch. More likely it'd just burn itself out, and then what? I'd have achieved nothing and given them far too much information about myself. That I was here, and I have an accomplice that I can use the bow and arrow with accuracy. There's no alternative. I'm going to have to get in closer and see if I can't discover what exactly protects the supplies. In fact, I'm just about to reveal myself when a movement catches my eye. Several hundred yards to my right, I see someone emerge from the woods. For a second, I think it's Rue, but then I recognize Foxface. She's the one we couldn't remember this morning, creeping out onto the plain. When she decides it's safe, she runs for the pyramid with quick, small steps. Just before she reaches the circle of supplies that have been littered around the pyramid, she stops, searching the ground, and carefully places her feet on a spot. Then she begins to approach the pyramid with strange little hops, sometimes landing on one foot, teetering slightly, sometimes risking a few steps. At one point, she launches up in the air over a small barrel and lands poised on her tiptoes. But she overshot slightly and her momentum throws her forward. I hear her give a sharp squeal as her hands hit the ground, but nothing happens. In a moment, she regained her feet and continued until she has reached the bulk of the supplies. Oh. Okay. I see. So she's like dancing around something and in the field. So I'm right about the booby trap, but it's clearly more complex than I had imagined. I was right about the girl, too. How wily she how wily is she to have discovered this path into the food and to be able to replicate it so neatly. She fills her pack, taking a few items from a variety of containers, crackers from a crate, handful of apples from a burlap sack that hangs suspended from a rope off the side of a bin, but only a handful from each, not enough to tip off that the food is missing, not enough to cause suspicion. And then she's doing her odd little dance back out of the circle and scampering into the woods again, safe and sound. Right. So she's trying to get out, dodging the booby traps on the ground around me. Are we reading Hunger Games? Yes. Yes, Jay. We are. I finally fixed up TikTok and Twitch. And today was going to be me reading chapters 16 through 20. So here's a little special custom stream kind of deal. First multi-stream, and it's like in the middle of a book. So here we are. Yeah. So, let's see. Circle and scampering into the woods, safe and sound. I realize I'm grinding my teeth in frustration. Foxface has confirmed what I'd already guessed, but what sort of trap have they laid that requires such dexterity? Has so many trigger points? Why did she squeal so her hands made contact on the earth? You'd have thought, and slowly it begins to dawn on me, you'd have thought the very ground was going to explode. Oh. It's mind, I whispered. That explains everything. The Creer's willingness to leave their supplies, Foxface's reaction, the involvement of the boy from District 3, where they have the factories, where they have made televisions and automobiles and explosives. But where did he get them? In the supplies? That's not the sort of weapon the game makers usually provide, given that they like to see the tributes draw blood personally. I slip out of the bushes and cross to one of the round metal plates that lifted the tributes into the arena. The ground around it has been dug up and patted back down. The landmines were disabled after the 60 seconds we stood on the plates, but the boy from District 3 must have managed to reactivate them. I've never seen anyone in the games do that. I bet it came as a shock even to the game makers. Well, hooray for the boy for District 3 for putting one over on them. But what am I supposed to do now? Obviously, I can't go strolling into that mess without blowing myself sky high. As for the sending in a burning arrow, that's more laughable than ever. The mines are set off by pressure. It doesn't have to be a lot either. One year, a girl dropped her token, a small wooden ball, while she was at her plate, and they literally had to scrape bits of her off the ground. Pardon? Okay. Jesus. My arm's pretty good. I might be able to chuck some rocks in there and set off, what, maybe one mine? That could start a chain reaction, or could it? Would the boy from District 3 have placed the mines in such a way that a single mine would not disturb the others? Fuck, dude. That's actually... yeah. Okay. Thereby protecting the supplies, but ensuring the death of the invader. Even if I only blew up one mine, I'd draw the Creers back down on me for sure. And anyway, what am I thinking? There's that net clearly strung to deflect any such attack. Besides, what I'd really need is to throw about 30 rocks in there at once, setting off a big chain reaction, demolishing the whole lot. I glance back up at the woods. The smoke from Rue's second fire is wavering toward the sky. By now, the Creers have probably begun to suspect some sort of trick. Time is running out. There's a solution to this. I know there is. If I can only focus hard enough. I stare at the pyramid, the bins, the crates, too heavy to topple over with an arrow. Maybe one container's cooking oil. and the burning arrow idea is reviving when I realize I could end up losing all 12 of my arrows and not get a direct hit on an oil bin, since I'd just be guessing. I'm genuinely thinking of trying to recreate Foxface's trip up to the pyramid in hopes of finding a new means of destruction when my eyes light on the burlap bags of apples. I could sever the rope in one shot. I didn't do as much in the training center. Didn't I do as much as I did in the training center? It's a big bag, but it still might only be good for one explosion. If only I could free the apples themselves. I know what to do. I move into range and give myself 3 arrows to get the job done. I plant my fate carefully, block out the rest of the world as I take meticulous aim. The first arrow tears through the side of the bag near the top, leaving a split in the burlap. The second widens it to a gaping hole. I can see the first apple teetering when I let the third arrow go, catching the torn flap of burlap and ripping it from the bag. For a moment, everything seems frozen in time. Then the apples spill to the ground and I'm blown backwards into the air. Jesus. Okay, so end of chapter 16 on to 17, but we have a feature presentation here. A little feature presentation for everyone still here after I yap. Okay, so I'm going to bring up Buddy again. Buddy. Alright, Buddy is here. Oh, wait, hold on. Alright, Buddy. Alright, there's Buddy. Right. Say hello to Buddy, everyone. And we have a little feature presentation. The Hunger Games, but better. Just a little snippet.
By the center of the arena.
That sounds tempting. Okay, this is going to burn quick, so go to the next one.
Okay. We should have a signal in case one of us gets held up.
Like what?
Mockingjay. Back home, we use them to set signals all the time. You try.
Okay, I can't do, I'll just...
Alright, if we hear that, it means we're okay and we'll be back real soon.
Be safe.
Call me crazy, but I've been starting to think more and more we should start making music in here. Kato Marvel, the Pikayan Clyde. Kato Marvel, the Pikayan Clyde. Smoke! Kato Smoke, let's go! Kill him, Kato! Watch your stuff! You guys on things? Huh? Keep an eye on things. We said watch this stuff.
Absolutely.
Alright, wait, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Alright, watch this stuff, please.
Huh?
Come on! Watch this stuff! Watch this stuff!
Yeah, watch this stuff.
This stuff right there.
Can you guys hear me?
Wait, hold on. Let's go back. What did you say?
I said, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we just watch this stuff.
Okay.
Let's go! Hey, go!
Yeah.
Watch this stuff.
Alright. Huh?
Can you not hear it?
Yeah, I gotta pee. Yeah. But this will be fine.
Foxface. Right, okay. So that was where we are at. Alright, let's have Buddy come back here. Alright, Buddy, you need to turn it off. Okay. Thank you, Buddy. Okay. On to chapter 17. Alright, 17. She blew up the supplies. The impact with the hard-packed earth of the plane knocks the wind out of me. My backpack does little to soften the blow. Fortunately, my quiver has caught in the crook of my elbow, sparing both itself and my shoulder. My bow is locked into my grasp. The ground still shakes with explosions. I can't hear them. I can't hear anything at the moment, but the apples must have set off enough mines causing debris to activate the others. I managed to shield my face with my arms as shattered bits of matter, some of it burning, rain down around me. An acrid smoke fills the air, which is not the best remedy for someone trying to regain the ability to breathe. After about a minute, the ground stops vibrating. I roll on my side and allow myself a moment of satisfaction at the sight of the smoldering wreckage that was recently the pyramid. The careers aren't likely to salvage anything out of that. I'd better get out of here, I think. They'll be making a beeline for the place. But once I'm on my feet, I realize escape may not be so simple. I'm dizzy. Not the slightly wobbly kind, but the kind that sends the trees swooping around you and cause the earth to move in waves under your feet. Damn. I take a few steps and somehow wind up on my hands and knees. I wait a few minutes to let it pass, but it doesn't. Panic begins to set in. I can't stay here. Flight is essential. But I can neither walk nor hear. I place a hand to my left ear, the one that was turned toward the blast, and it comes out away bloody. Have I gone deaf from the explosion? The idea frightens me. I rely as much on my ears as my eyes as a hunter, maybe more at times. But I can't let my fear show. Absolutely, positively. I am live on every screen in Panem. No blood trails, I tell myself, and manage to pull my hood up over my head, tie the cord under my chin with uncooperative fingers. That should help soak up the blood. I can't walk, but can I crawl? I move forward tentatively. Yes, if I go very slowly, I can crawl. Most of the woods will offer insufficient cover. My only hope is to make it back to Rue's copse and conceal myself in greenery. I can't get caught out here on my hands and knees in the open. Not only will I face death, it's sure to be a long and painful one at Cato's hand. The thought of Prim having to watch that keeps me doggedly inching my way toward the hideout. Another blast knocks me flat on my face. Damn. A stray mine, set off by some collapsing crate. This happens twice more. The remaining of those last few kernels that burst when Prim and I pop corn over the fire at home. To say I make it in the nick of time is an understatement. I have literally just dragged myself into the tangle of bushes at the base of the trees where there's Cato, barreling onto the plain, soon followed by his companions. His rage is so extreme it might be comical, so people really do tear out their hair and beat the ground with their fists. If I didn't know that it was aimed at me, at what I have done to him. Add to that proximity my inability to run or defend myself, and in fact the whole thing has me terrified. I'm glad my hiding place makes it impossible for the cameras to get a closer shot of me because I'm biting my nails like there's no tomorrow. Gnawing off the little bits of nail polish, trying to keep my teeth from chattering. The boy from District 3 throws stones into the ruins and must have declared all the mines activated because the careers are approaching the wreckage. Cato has finished the first phase of his tantrum and takes out his anger on the smoking remains by kicking open various containers. The wind tributes are poking around in the mess, looking for anything to salvage, but there's nothing. The boy from District 3 has done his job too well. This idea must occur to Cato too, because he turns on the boy and appears to be shouting at him. The boy from District 3 only has time to turn and run before Cato catches him in a headlock from behind. I can see the muscles ripple in Cato's arms as he sharply jerks the boy's head to the side. Yikes. Yikes. It's that quick. The death of the boy from District 3. The other two careers seem to be trying to calm Kato down. I can tell he wants to return to the woods, but they keep pointing at the sky, which puzzles me until I realize, of course, they think whoever set off the explosion is dead. They don't know about the arrows and the apples. They assume the booby trap was faulty, but that the tribute who blew up the supplies was killed doing it. If there was a cannon shot, it could have been easily lost in the subsequent explosions. The shattered remains of the thief were moved by hovercraft. They retired to the far side of the lake to allow the game makers to retrieve the body of the boy from District 3, and they wait. I suppose a cannon goes off, a hovercraft appears and takes the dead boy. The sun dips below the horizon, night falls. Up in the sky I see the seal and know the anthem must have begun. A moment of darkness. They show the boy from District 3, they show the boy from District 10, who must have died this morning. Then the seal reappears. So now they know. The bomber survived. In the seal's light, I can see Kato and the girl from District 2 put on their night vision goggles. The boy from District 1 ignites a tree branch for a torch, illuminating the grim determination on all their faces. The careers stride back into the woods to hunt. The dizziness has subsided, and while my left ear is still deafened, I can hear ringing in my right, which seems to be a good sign. There's no point in leaving my hiding place, though. I'm about as safe as I can be here at the crime scene. They probably think the bomber has a 2 or 3 hour lead on them. Still, it's a long time before I risk moving. The first thing I do is dig out my own glasses and put them on, which relaxes me a bit to have at least one of my hunter's senses working. I drink some water and wash the blood from my ear, fearing the smell of meat will draw unwanted predators. Fresh blood is bad enough. I make a good meal out of the greens and roots and berries Rue and I gathered today. Where is my little ally? Did she make it back to the rendezvous point? Or is she worried about me? At least the sky has shown we're both alive. I run through the surviving tributes on my fingers, the boy from 1, both from 2, Foxface, both from 11 and 12. Just 8 of us. The betting must be getting really hot in the capital. They'll be doing special features on each of us now, probably interviewing our friends and families. It's been a long time since a tribute from 12 made it into the top 8. And now there are 2 of us, although from what Kato said, Peta's on his way out. Not that Kato is the final word on anything. Didn't he just lose his entire stash of supplies? Let the 74th Hunger Games begin, Kato, I think. Let them begin for real. Ooh. Okay. A cold breeze has sprung up. I reach for my sleeping bag before I remember I left it with Rue. I was supposed to pick up another one, but what with the mines and all, I forgot. I begin to shiver. Since roosting overnight in a tree isn't sensible, anyway, I scoop out a hollow under the bushes and cover myself with leaves and pine needles. I'm still freezing. I lay my sheet of plastic over my upper body and position my backpack to block the wind. It's a little better. I begin to have more sympathy for the girl from District 8 that lit the fire that first night. But now it's me who needs to grit my teeth and tough it out until morning. More leaves, more pine needles. I pull my arms inside my jacket and tuck my knees up to my chest. Somehow I drift off to sleep. When I open my eyes, the world looks slightly fractured. And it takes a minute to realize that the sun must be well up in the glasses, fragmenting my vision. As I sit up and remove them, I hear a laugh somewhere near the lake and freeze. The laugh's distorted, but the fact that it registered at all means I must be regaining my hearing. Yes, my right ear can hear again, although it's still ringing. As for my left ear, well, at least the bleeding has stopped. I peer through the bushes, afraid the careers have returned, trapping me here for an indefinite time. No, it's Foxface, standing in the rubble of the pyramid and laughing. She's smarter than the careers, actually finding a few useful items in the ashes. A metal pot, a knife blade. I'm perplexed by the amusement until I realize that with the career stores eliminated, she might actually stand a chance, just like the rest of us. It crosses my mind to reveal myself and enlist her as a second ally against the pack, but I rule it out. There's something about that shy grin that makes me sure that befriending Foxface would ultimately get me a knife in the back. With that in mind, this might be an excellent time to shoot her, but she's heard something. Not me, because her head turns away, towards the drop-off, and she sprints for the woods. I wait. No one, nothing shows up. Still, if Foxface thought it was dangerous, maybe it's time for me to get out of here, too. Besides, I'm eager to tell Rue about the pyramid. Ooh, okay. Since I've no idea where the careers are, the route back by the stream seems as good as any. I hurry, loaded bow in one hand, a hunk of cold grusling in the other, because I'm famished now, and not just for leaves and berries, but for the fat and protein in the meat. The trip to the stream is uneventful. Once there, I refill my water and wash, taking particular care with my injured ear. Then I travel uphill, using the stream as a guide. At one point, I find boot prints in the mud along the bank. The careers have been here, but not for a while. The prints are deep because they were made in soft mud, but now they're nearly dry in the hot sun. I haven't been careful enough about my own tracks, counting on a light tread and the pine needles to conceal my prints. Now I strip off my boots and socks and go barefoot up the bed of the stream. The cold water has an invigorating effect on my body, my spirits. I shoot 2 fish, easy pickings in the slow-moving stream, and go ahead and eat one raw even though I've just had the grusling. The second I'll save for Rue. Gradually, subtly, the ringing in my right ear diminishes until it's gone entirely. I find myself pawing at the left ear periodically, trying to clean away whatever dead ends its ability to collect sounds. If there's any improvement, it's undetectable. I can't adjust to deafness in the ear. It makes me feel off balance and defenseless to my left. Blind, even. My head keeps turning to the injured side as my right ear tries to compensate for the wall of nothingness where yesterday there was a constant flow of information. The more time that passes, the less hopeful I am that this is an injury that will heal. Damn. Okay. When I reach the site of our first meeting, I feel certain it's been undisturbed. There's no sight of Rue, not on the ground or in the trees. This is odd. By now she should have returned, as it's midday. Undoubtedly, she spent the night in a tree somewhere. What else could she do with no light and the careers with their night vision glasses tromping around the woods? And the third fire she was supposed to set, although I forgot to check for it last night, was the farthest from our site of all. She's probably just being cautious about making her way back. I wish she'd hurry, because I don't want to hang around here too long. I want to spend the afternoon traveling to higher ground, hunting as we go, but there's nothing really for me to do but wait. I wash the blood out of my jacket and hair and clean my ever-growing list of wounds. The burns are much better, but I use a bit of medicine on them anyway. The main things to worry about now is keeping out infection. I go ahead and eat the second fish. It isn't going to last long in this hot sun, but it should be easy enough to spear a few more for Rue, if she would just show up. Feeling too vulnerable on the ground with my lopsided hearing, I scale a tree to wait. If the careers show up, this will be a fine place to shoot them from. The sun moves slowly. I do things to pass the time, chew leaves and apply them to my stings that are deflated, but is still tender. Comb through my damp hair with my fingers and braided, lace my boots back up, check over my bow and remaining 9 arrows. Test my left ear repeatedly for signs of life by rustling a leaf near it, but without good results. Despite the grusling and the fish, my stomach's growling, and I know I'm going to have to what we call a holiday back in District 12. That's a day where no matter what you put in your belly, it's never enough. Having nothing to do but sit in a tree makes it worse, so I decided to give in to it. After all, I've lost a lot of weight in the arena. I need some extra calories, and having the bow and arrow makes me far more confident about my future prospects. I slowly peel and eat a handful of nuts, my last cracker, the grusling neck. That's good because it takes time to pick clean. Finally, a grusling wing and the bird is history. But it's a holiday, and even with all that, I start daydreaming about food, particularly the decadent dishes served in the capital. The chicken and creamy orange sauce, the cakes and pudding, bread with butter, noodles and green sauce, the lamb and dried plum stew. I suck on a few mint leaves and tell myself to get over it. Mint is good because we drink mint tea after supper often, so it tricks my stomach into thinking eating time is over. Sort of. Dangling up in a tree with the sun warming me, a mouthful of mint, my bow and arrows at hand. This is the most relaxed I've been since I've entered the arena. If only Rue would show up, and we could clear out. As the shadow grows, so does my restlessness. By late afternoon, I've resolved to go looking for her. I can at least visit the spot where she set the third fire, and see if there are any clues to her whereabouts. Before I go, I scatter a few mint leaves around our old campfire, since we gathered these some distance away. Rue will understand that I've been here, while they'll mean nothing to the careers. In less than an hour, I'm at the place where we agreed to have the third fire, and I know something has gone amiss. The wood has been neatly arranged, expertly interspersed with tinder, but it has never been lit. Rue set up the fire, but never made it back here. Somewhere between the second column of smoke I spied before I blew up the supplies, and this point she ran into trouble. I have to remind myself she's still alive. Or is she? Could the cannon shot announcing her death have come in the wee hours of the morning, when even my good ear was too broken to pick it up? Will she appear in the sky tonight? No, I refuse to believe it. There could be 100 other explanations. She could have lost her way, run into a pack of predators or another tribute, like Thresh, and had to hide. Whatever happened, I'm almost certain she's stuck out there, somewhere between the second fire and the unlit one at my feet. Something is keeping her up a tree. I think I'll go hunt it down. Ooh. She's missing. It's a relief to be doing something after sitting around all afternoon. I creep silently through the shadows, letting them conceal me, but nothing seems suspicious. There's no sign of any kind of struggle, no disruption of the needles on the ground. I've stopped for just a moment when I hear it. I have to cock my head around to the side to be sure. But there it is again. Rue's 4-note tune coming out of a Mockingjay's mouth. The one that means she's all right. I grin and move in the direction of the bird. Another, just a short distance ahead, picks up on the handful of notes. Rue has been singing to them, and recently. Otherwise, they'd have taken up some other song. My eyes lift into the trees, searching for a sign of her. I swallow and sing softly back, hoping she'll know it's safe to join me. A Mockingjay repeats the melody to me, and that's when I hear the scream. It's a child's scream. A young girl's scream. There's no one in the arena capable of making that sound except Rue. And now I'm running, knowing this may be a trap, knowing 3 careers may be poised to attack me, but I can't help myself. There's another high-pitched cry, and this time my name. Katniss, Katniss, Rue, I shout back. So she knows I'm near, so they know I'm near. And hopefully the girl who was attacked the girl who has attacked them with tracker jackers and gotten an 11, they still can't explain will be enough to pull their attention away from her. Rue, I'm coming. When I break into the clearing, she's on the ground, hopelessly entangled in a net. She just has time to reach her hand through the mesh, and I say my name before the spear enters her body. Oh no! No, what do you mean? When I break into the clearing, she's on the ground, hopelessly entangled in a net. She just has time to reach her hand through the mesh and say my name before the spear enters her body. Next chapter. Go fuck yourself. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, that's how you end the chapter? What the... That is how you... Dude, I'm sorry. You should have made the next page blank. Alright, give me a fucking minute to process that. That is crazy. Oh my god. Okay, hold on. Let's bring up Buddy here, right? Alright, Buddy's back here. He's gonna turn on the TV. We're gonna hold back our tears right now. Alright, he turned on the TV. Okay, bye, Buddy. Okay. We're gonna continue the dramatization until, you know, Rue.
It's gonna be one less problem without you. Like that. One less problem.
Rue? Rue! Rue! Candace! It's okay. It's okay. You're okay. You're okay. You're okay. Rue!
Wait.
It's okay. It's okay.
Okay. Jesus. Alright. This is where we're at. Chapter 18. Fuck. Okay. Great. Nice. The boy from District 1 dies before he can pull out the spear. My arrow drives deeply into the center of his neck. He falls to his knees and halves the brief remainder of his life by yanking out the arrow and drowning in his own blood. Damn. Okay. I'm reloaded, shifting my aim from side to side while I shout at Rue. Are there more? Are there more? She has to say no several times before I hear it. Rue has rolled to her side and her body curved in and around the spear. I shove the boy away from her and pull out my knife, freeing her from the net. One look at the wound and I know it's far beyond my capacity to heal. Beyond anyone's, probably. The spearhead is buried up to the shaft in her stomach. I crouch before her, staring helplessly at the embedded weapon. There's no point in comforting words. In telling her she'll be alright. She's no fool. Her hand reaches out and I clutch it like a lifeline, as if it's me who's dying instead of Rue. You blew up the food, she whispers. Every last bit, I say. You have to win, she says. I'm going to win for both of us now. I promise. I hear a cannon and look up. It must be for the boy, District 1. Don't go. Rue tightens her grip on my hand. Of course not. Staying right here, I say. I move in closer to her, pulling her head onto my lap. I gently brush the dark, thick hair back behind her ear. Sing, she says, but I barely catch a word. Sing, I think? Sing what? I do know a few songs, believe it or not. There was once music in my house too, music I helped make. My father pulled me in with that remarkable voice, but I haven't sung much since he died, except when Prim is very sick. Then I sing her the same songs she liked as a baby. Aw. Sing. My throat is tight with tears, hoarse from the smoke and fatigue. But if this is Rue's last request, I have to at least try. The song that comes to me is a simple lullaby, one we sing fretful, hungry babies to sleep with. It's old, very old, I think. Made up long ago in our hills, what my music teacher calls a mountain air. But the words are easy and soothing, promising tomorrow will be more hopeful than this awful piece of time we call today. I give a small cough, swallow hard, and begin. Deep in the meadow, under the willow, a bed of grass, a soft green pillow. Lay down your head and close your sleepy eyes. And when again they open, the sun will rise. Oh. Here it's safe, here it's warm. Here the daisies guard you from every harm. Here your dreams are sweet and tomorrow brings them true. Here is the place where I love you. Rue's eyes have fluttered shut. Her chest moves, but only slightly. My throat releases the tears, and they slide down my cheeks, but I have to finish the song for her. Deep in the meadow, hidden far away, a cloak of leaves, a moonbeam ray. Forget your woes and let your troubles lay, and when again it's morning, they'll wash away. Here it's safe, here it's warm. Here the daisies guard you from every harm. The final lines are barely audible. Here your dreams are sweet and tomorrow brings them true. Here's the place where I love you. Everything's still and quiet. Then almost eerily, the Mockingjays take up my song. Oh, I'd be pissed. I don't know. I don't know if the birds really understand the weight of the situation that we're in right now, and for them to sing it, I'd have mixed feelings. I don't know. I'd be kind of pissed at them. Maybe a specific bird, you know? For a moment, I sit there, watching my tears drip down on her face. Rue's cannon fires. I lean forward and press my lips against her temple. Slowly, as if not to wake her, I lay her head back on the ground and release her hand. They'll want me to clear out now, so they can collect the bodies, and there's nothing to stay for. I roll the boy from District 1 onto his face and take his pack, retrieve the arrow that ended his life. I cut Rue's pack from her back as well, knowing she'd want me to have it, but leave the spear in her stomach. Weapons and bodies will be transported to the hovercraft. I have no use for a spear, so the sooner it's gone from the arena, the better. I can't stop looking at Rue, smaller than ever, a baby animal curled into a nest of netting. I can't bring myself to leave her like this, past harm, but seeming utterly defenseless. To hate the boy from District 1 who also appears so vulnerable in death seems inadequate. It's the capital I hate for doing this to all of us. Gale's voice is in my head. His ravings against the capital no longer pointless, no longer to be ignored. Rue's death has forced me to confront my own fury against the cruelty, the injustice they inflict upon us. But here, even more strongly than at home, I feel my impotence. There's no way to take revenge on the capital, is there? Then I remember Peeta's words on the roof. Only I keep wishing I could think of a way to show the capital they don't own me, that I'm more than just a piece of their games. And for the first time, I understand what he means. I want to do something, right here, right now, to shame them, to make them accountable, to show the capital that whatever they do or force us to do, there is a part of every tribute they can't own. That Rue was more than a piece in their games, and so am I. A few steps into the woods grows a bank of wildflowers. Perhaps They are really weeds of some sort, but they have blossoms in beautiful shades of violet, yellow, and white. I gather up an armful and come back to Rue's side. Slowly, one stem at a time, I decorate her body in the flowers, covering the ugly wound, wreathing her face, weaving her hair with bright colors. They'll have to show it, or even if they choose to turn the cameras elsewhere at this moment, they'll have to bring them back when they collect the bodies, and everyone will see her then and know I did it. I step back and take a last look at Rue. She could really be asleep in that meadow after all. Bye, Rue, I whisper. I press the 3 middle fingers of my left hand against my lips and hold them out in her direction. Then I walk away without looking back. The birds fall silent. Somewhere a mockingjay gives the warning whistle that precedes the hovercraft. I don't know how it knows. It must hear things that humans can't. I pause, my eyes focused on what's ahead, not what's happening behind me. It doesn't take long. Then the general bird song begins again, and I know she's gone. Another mockingjay, a young one by the look of it, lands on a branch before me and bursts out Rue's melody. Oh, dog. Not the baby mockingjay playing it. Okay. Okay, not bad. Okay, snow. My song, The Hovercraft, were too unfamiliar for this novice to pick up, but it has mastered her handful of notes, the ones that mean she's safe. Good and safe, I say as I pass under its branch. We don't have to worry about her now. Good and safe. I've no idea where to go. The brief sense of home I had that one night with Rue has vanished. My feet wander this way and that until sunset. I'm not afraid, not even watchful, which makes me an easy target, except I'd kill anyone I met on sight. Without emotion or the slightest tremor in my hand, my hatred for the Capitol has not lessened my hatred of my competitors in the least, especially the careers. They at least can be made to pay for Rue's death. Damn. Okay. Relentless Katniss right now. No one materializes, though. There aren't many of us left, and it's a big arena. Soon they'll be pulling out some other device to force us together, but there's been enough gore today. Perhaps we'll even get some sleep. I'm about to haul my packs into a tree to make camp when a silver parachute floats down and lands in front of me. A gift from a sponsor. But why now? I've been fairly good shape with supplies. Maybe Hamish has noticed my despondency and is trying to cheer me up a bit. Or could it be something to help my ear? I open the parachute and find a small loaf of bread. It's not the fine white Capitol stuff. It's made of dark ration grain and shaped in a crescent. Sprinkled with seeds, I flash back to Peter's lesson on the various district breads in the training center. This bread came from District 11. I cautiously lift the stiff, warm loaf. What must it have cost the people of District 11 who can't even feed themselves? How many would have had to do without a scrape up a coin to put in the collection for this one loaf? It had been meant for Rue, surely. But instead of pulling the gift when she died, they authorized Hamish to give it to me. As a thank you, or because, like me, they don't like to let debts go unpaid. For whatever reason, this is a first. A district gift to a tribute who's not your own. Oh. Okay. Oh, it's good, Q. How you doing? Thank you. I lift my face and step into the last falling rays of sunlight. My thanks to the people of District 11, I say. I want them to know I know where it came from, that the full value of their gift has been recognized. I climb dangerously high into a tree, not for safety, but to get as far away from today as I can. My sleeping bag is rolled neatly in Rue's pack. Tomorrow I'll sort through the supplies. Tomorrow I'll make a new plan. But tonight, all I can do is strap myself in and take tiny bites of the bread. It's good. It tastes like home. Soon the seals in the sky, the anthem plays in my right ear. I see the boy from District 1 and Rue. That's all for tonight. 6 of us left. 6 of us left, I think. Only 6. With the bread still locked in my hands, I fall asleep at once. Sometimes when things are particularly bad, my brain will give me a happy dream. A visit with my father in the woods, an hour of sunlight and cake with Prim. Tonight it sends me Rue, still decked in her flowers, perched in a high sea of trees, trying to teach me to talk to the mockingjays. I see no sign of her wounds, no blood, just a bright, laughing girl. She sings songs I've never heard in a clear, melodic voice. On and on. Through the night there's a drowsy in-between period where I can hear the last few strains of her music, although she's lost in the leaves. When I fully awaken, I'm momentarily comforted. I try to hold on to the peaceful feeling of the dream, but it quickly slips away, leaving me sadder and lonelier than ever. Heaviness influences my whole body, as if there's liquid lead in my veins. I've lost the will to do the simplest tasks, to do anything but lie here, staring unblinkingly through the canopy of leaves. For several hours I remain motionless. As usual, it's the thought of Prim's anxious face as she watches me on the screens back at home that breaks me from this lethargy. I give myself a series of simple commands to follow, like, now you have to sit up, Katniss. Now you have to drink water, Katniss. I act on the orders with slow, robotic motions. Now you have to sort the packs. Rue's pack holds my sleeping bag, her nearly empty water skin, a handful of nuts and roots, a bit of rabbit, her extra socks, and her slingshot. The boy from District 1 has several knives, 2 spare spearheads, a flashlight, a small leather pouch, a first aid kit, a full bottle of water, and a pack of dried fruit. A pack of dried fruit. Out of all he might have chosen from, to me this is a sign of extreme arrogance. Why bother carry food when you have such a bounty back at camp? When you will kill your enemies so quickly you'll be home before you're hungry. 'Cause he's a career, that's right. Yeah. I can only hope the other careers traveled so lightly when it came to food and now find themselves with nothing. Speaking of which, my own supply is running low. I finish off the loaf from District 11 and the last of the rabbit. How quickly the food disappears. All I have left are Rue's roots and nuts, the boy's dried fruit, and 1 strip of beef. Now you have to hunt, Katniss, I tell myself. I obediently consolidate the supplies I went into my pack. After I climb down the tree, I conceal the boy's knives and spearheads in a pile of rocks so that no one else can use them. I lost my bearings, what with all the wandering around I did yesterday evening, but I tried to head back into the general direction of the stream. I know I'm not on course when I come across Rue's 3rd unlit fire. Shortly thereafter, I discover a flock of grooslings perched into trees and take out 3 before they know what hit them. I returned to the Rue's signal fire and started up, not caring about the excessive smoke. Where are you, Cato? I think as I roast the birds and Rue's roots. I'm waiting right here. Who knows where the careers are now? Either too far to reach me or too sure this is a trick. Or is it possible? Too scared of me? They know I have the bow and arrows, of course. Cato saw me take them from Glimmer's body. But have they put 2 and 2 together yet? Figured out I blew up the supplies and killed their fellow career? Possibly they think Thresh did this. Wouldn't he be more likely to revenge Rue's death than I would? Being from the same district? Not that he ever took any interest in her. And what about Foxface? Did she hang around to watch me blow up the supplies? No. When I caught her laughing in the ashes the next morning, it was as if somebody had given her a lovely surprise. I doubt they think PETA has lit this signal fire. Kato's sure he's as good as dead. I find myself wishing I could tell PETA about the flowers I put on Rue, that I now understand what he was trying to say on the roof. Perhaps if he wins the games, he'll see me on Victor's night when they replay the highlights of the games on a screen over the stage where we did our interviews. The winner sits in a place of honor on the platform, surrounded by their support crew. Hold on, I need to grab some water. Damn. Hold up. But I told Ruud I'd be there for both of us, and somehow that seems even more important than the vow I gave Prim. I really think I stand a chance of doing it now, winning. It's not just having the arrows or outsmarting the careers a few times, although those things help. Something happened when I was holding Rue's hand, watching the life drain out of her. Now I am determined to avenge her, to make her loss unforgettable, and I can only do that by winning and thereby making myself unforgettable. I overcook the birds, hoping someone will show up to shoot, but no one does. Maybe the other tributes are out there beating one another senseless, which would be fine. Ever since the bloodbath, I've been featured on screens more than I care. Eventually, I wrap up my food and go back to the stream to replenish my water and gather some. But the heaviness from the morning drapes back over me, and even though it's only early evening, I climb a tree and settle in for the night. My brain begins to replay the events from yesterday. I keep seeing Rue speared, my arrow piercing the boy's neck. I don't know why I should even care about the boy. Then I realize he was my first kill. Along with the other statistics they report to help. I don't know why that took me a minute. Along with other statistics they report to help people place their bets, every tribute has a list of kills. I guess technically I'd get credited for Glimmer and the girl from District 4 too for dumping that nest onto them. But the boy from District 1 was the first person I knew would die because of my actions. Numerous animals have lost their lives at my hands, but only one human. I hear Gale saying, "How different can it be, really?" Amazingly similar in the execution. A bow pulled, an arrow shot, entirely different in the aftermath. I killed a boy whose name I don't even know. Somewhere his family's weeping for him. His friends call for my blood. Maybe he had a girlfriend who really believed he would come back. But then I think of Rue's still body and I'm able to banish the boy from my mind, at least for now. It's been an uneventful day according to the sky. No deaths. I wonder how long we'll get until the next catastrophe drives us back together. If it's going to be tonight, I want to get some sleep first. I cover my good ear to block out the strains of the anthem, but then I hear the trumpets and sit straight up in anticipation. For the most part, the only communication the tributes get from outside the arena is the nightly death toll. But occasionally, there will be trumpets followed by an announcement. Usually this will be a call to a feast. When food is scarce, the game makers will invite the players to a banquet, somewhere known to all, like the cornucopia, as an inducement to gather and fight. Sometimes there is a feast and sometimes there's nothing but a loaf of stale bread for the tributes to compete for. I wouldn't go in for the food, but this could be an ideal time to take out a few competitors. Claudius Templesmith's voice booms down from overhead, congratulating the 6 of us who remain. But he is not inviting us to a feast. He's saying something very confusing. There's been a rule change in the games. A rule change. That in itself is mind-bending since we don't really have any rules to speak of except for don't step off your circle for 60 seconds and the unspoken rule about not eating one another. Under the new rule, both tributes from the same district will be declared winners if they are the last two alive. Claudius pauses, as if he knows we're not getting it, and repeats the change again. The news sinks in. 2 tributes can win this year if they're from the same district. Both can live. Both of us can live. Before I can stop myself, I call out Peeta's name. Ooh. Okay. Okay. Peeta is alive. Ooh. And it starts with part 3, The Victor. Okay. We're on chapter 19. So we got this chapter and the next. Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna have Buddy back out. Alright. Bring up Buddy. Alright, there he is. And he's gonna press play. Oh yeah, Rue's dead.
On an open fire. Take one snipping at your nose. Tiny tots with their eyes all aglow, and folks dressed up like.
So you like an underdog?
Yeah, everyone likes an underdog.
I don't. Have you been to the districts? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
No, you.
I have.
What?
Lots of underdogs.
How did you survive?
Lots of coal, too. Things we need. So we can live the blessed life that we live.
Yeah. Okay.
If you saw them, you wouldn't root for them either.
What are you saying?
I like you.
I like you a professional amount. What is this?
Been working on it all day with this can opener.
Yo, so there actually can be 2 winners if they're from the same. No. Yeah, if they're from the same district.
Okay. We're back. So now, on to chapter 19, Act 3, The Victor. Oh wait, we gotta have Buddy. Hold on. Buddy! There you are. And then, yeah, turn off the TV. It's been on for a while. Okay. Thank you, Buddy. Okay. So, chapter 19. I clap my hands over my mouth. The sound has already escaped. The sky goes black, and I hear a chorus from beginning to sing. Stupid, I tell myself. What a stupid thing to do. I wait, frozen, for the woods to come alive with assailants. Then I remember there's almost no one left. Peeta, who's been wounded, is now my ally. Whatever doubts I've had about him dissipate, because if either of us took the other's life now, we'd be pariahs when we return to District 12. In fact, I know if I was watching, I'd loathe any tribute who didn't immediately ally with their district partner. Besides, it just makes sense to protect each other. And in my case, being one of the star-crossed lovers from 12, it's an absolute requirement if if I want any more help from sympathetic sponsors. The star-crossed lovers. PETA must have been playing that angle all along. Why else would the game makers have made this unprecedented change in the rules? For two tributes to have a shot at winning our romance must be so popular with the audience that condemning it would jeopardize the success of the games. No thanks to me. All I've done is manage not to kill PETA, but whatever he's done in the arena, he must have the audience convinced it was to keep me alive, shaking his head to keep me from running to the cornucopia, fighting Kato to let me escape, even hooking up with the careers must have been a move to protect me. PETA, it turns out, has never been a danger to me. The thought makes me smile. I drop my hands and hold my face up to the moonlight so the cameras can be sure to catch it. So, who is there left to be afraid of? Foxface, the boy tribute from her district, is dead. She's operating alone, at night, and her strategy has been to evade, not attack. I don't really think that, even if she heard my voice, she'd do anything but hope someone else would kill me. Then there's Thresh. All night, he's a district threat. But I haven't seen him, not once, since the games began. I think about how Foxface grew alarmed when she heard a sound at the sight of the explosion. But she didn't turn to the woods. She turned to whatever lies across from it. To that area of the arena that drops off into I don't know what. I feel almost certain that the person she ran from was Thresh, and that is his domain. He'd never have heard me from there, and even if he did, I'm up too high for someone his size to reach. So that leaves Kato and the girl from District 2, who are now surely celebrating the new rule. They're the only ones left who benefit from it besides PETA and myself. Do I run from them now on the chance they heard me call PETA's name? No, I think. Let them come. Let them come with their night vision glasses and their heavy, branch-breaking bodies, right into the range of my arrows. But I know they won't. If they didn't come in daylight with my fire, they won't risk what could be another trap at night. When they come, it will be their own terms, not because I've left them know my whereabouts. Stay put and get some sleep, Katniss, I instruct myself. Although I wish I could start tracking PETA now. Tomorrow, you will find them. I do sleep, but in the morning I'm extra cautious, thinking that while the careers might hesitate to attack me in a tree, they're completely capable of setting an ambush for me. I make sure to fully prepare myself for the day, eating a big breakfast, securing my pack, readying my weapons before I descend. But all seems peaceful and undisturbed on the ground. Today I'll have to be oh my god. New word. Hold on. Scrupulously? Whatever. The careers will know I'm trying to locate PETA. They may well want to wait until I do before they move in. If he's so badly wounded as Kato thinks, I'd be in position of having to defend us both without any assistance. But if he's that incapacitated, how has he managed to stay alive? And how on earth will I find him? I try to think of anything PETA ever said that might give me an indication as to where he's hiding out, but nothing rings a bell. So I go back to the last moment I saw him sparkling in the sunlight, yelling at me to run. Then Kato appeared, his sword drawn, and after I was gone, he wounded PETA. But how did PETA get away? Maybe he'd held out better against the Tracker Jacker poison than Kato. Maybe that was the variable that allowed him to escape. But he'd been stung too. So how far could he have gotten? Stabled and filled with venom, and how has he stayed alive all these days since? If the wound and the stingers haven't killed him, surely thirst would have taken him by now. And that's when I get my first clue to his whereabouts. He couldn't have survived without water. I know that from my first few days here. He must be hidden somewhere near a source. There's the lake, but I find that an unlikely option since it's so close to the career's base camp. A few spring-fed pools, but you'd really be a sitting duck at one of those, and the stream. The one that leads from the camp Rue and I had made all the way down near the lake and beyond. If he stuck to the stream, he could change his location and always be near water. He could walk in the current and erase any tracks. He might even be able to get a fish or two. Well, it's a place to start anyway. To confuse my enemies' minds, I start a fire with plenty of green wood. Even if they think it's a ruse, I hope they'll decide I'm hidden somewhere near it, while in reality I'll be tracking PETA. The sun burns off the morning haze almost immediately, and I can tell the day will be hotter than usual. The water's cool and pleasant on my bare feet as I head downstream. I'm tempted to call out PETA's name as I go, but decide against it. I will have to find him with my eyes and only one good ear, or he will have to find me. But he'll know I'll be looking, right? He won't have so low of an option of me as to think I'd ignore the rule and keep to myself. Would he? He's very hard to predict, which might be interesting under different circumstances. But as the moment only provides an extra obstacle. Hold on. It doesn't take long to reach the spot where I peeled off to go to the careers camp. There's been no sign of PETA, but this doesn't surprise me. I've been up and down this stretch 3 times since the Tracker Jacker incident. If he were nearby, surely I'd have had some suspicion of it. The stream begins to curve to the left into a part of the woods that's new to me. Muddy banks covered in tangled water plants led to large rocks that increase in size until I begin to feel somewhat trapped. It would be no small matter to escape the stream now, fighting off Kato or Thresh as I climbed over this rocky terrain. In fact, I've just about decided I'm on the wrong track entirely, that a wounded boy would be unable to navigate getting to and from this water source, when I see the bloody streak going down the curve of Boulder. It's a long drive now, but the smeary lines running side to side suggest someone who perhaps was not fully in control of his mental faculties tried to wipe it away. Hugging the rocks, I move slowly in the direction of the blood, searching for him. I find a few more bloodstains, one with a few threads of fabric glued to it, but no sign of life. I break down and say his name in a hushed voice, PETA, PETA. Then a mockingjay lands on a scuffy tree and begins to mimic my tones, so I stop. I give up and climb back down to the stream, thinking he must have moved on, somewhere farther down. My foot has just broken the surface of the water when I hear a voice. You here to finish me off, sweetheart? I whip around. It comes from the left, so I can't pick it up very well, and the voice was hoarse and weak. Still, it must have been PETA. Who else in the arena would call me sweetheart? My eyes pursue the bank, but there's nothing. Just mud, the plants, the base of the rocks. PETA? I whispered. Where are you? There's no answer. Could I just have imagined it? No, I'm certain it was real and very close at hand, too. PETA? I creep along the bank. Well, don't step on me. I jump back. His voice was right under my feet. Still, there's nothing. Then his eyes open, unmistakably blue in the brown mud and green leaves. I gasp and am rewarded with a hint of white teeth as he laughs. It's the final word in camouflage. Forget chucking weights around, Peter should have gone into his private session with the game makers and painted himself into a tree, or a boulder, or a muddy bank full of weeds. Close your eyes, I order. He does, and his mouth too, and completely disappears. Most of what I judge to be his body is actually under a layer of mud and plants. His face and arms are artfully disguised as to be invisible. I kneel beside him. I guess all those hours decorating cakes paid off. Peter smiles. Yes, frosting, the final defense of dying. You're not going to die, I tell him firmly. Says who? His voice so ragged. Says me. We're on the same team now, you know, I tell him, his eyes open. So I heard. Nice of you to find what's left of me. I pull out my water bottle and give him a drink. Did Kato cut you? I ask. Left leg, up high, he answers. Let's get you in the stream. Why are you being so creepy? Oh shit, is it magic? Okay. I'm gonna finish this up. I'm gonna wrap it up. It is, okay. I got you. Alright, magic is back on the table. Okay, this is like the second last chapter. We're there. No, it's alright. Don't worry. Why am I being so creepy? Because it makes it more engaging. Okay. Let's get you into the street. Wash you up so I can see what kind of wounds you've got, I say. Lean down a minute first. No, wait. Lean down a minute first, he says. Need to tell you something. I lean over and put my good ear to his lips. He puts his tongue into my ear, which tickle as he whispers, Remember, we're madly in love, so it's alright to kiss me anytime you feel like it. I jerk my head back, but end up laughing. Thanks, I'll keep it in mind. Yes. At least he's still able to joke around, but when I start to help him to the stream, all the levity disappears. It's only 2 feet away. How hard can it be? Very hard when I realize he's unable to move an inch on his own. He's so weak that the best he can do is not to resist. I try to drag him, but despite the fact that I know he's doing all he can to keep quiet, sharp cries of pain escape him. The mud and plants seem to have imprisoned him, and I finally have to give a gigantic tug to break him from the clutches. He's still 2 feet from the water, lying there, teeth gritted, tears cutting trails in the dirt on his face. Look, Peter, I'm going to roll you into the stream. It's very shallow here, okay? Excellent, he says. I crouch down beside him. No matter what happens, I tell myself don't stop until he's in the water. On 3. 1, 2, 3. I can only imagine 1 full roll before I have to stop because of the horrible sound he's making. Now he's on the edge of the stream. Maybe this is better anyway. Okay, change of plans. I'm not going to put you all the way in, I tell him. Besides, if I get him in, who knows if I'd ever be able to get him out. No more rolling, he asks. That's all done. Let's get you cleaned up. Keep an eye on the woods for me, okay? I say. It's hard to know where to start. He's so caked. He's so caked. With mud and matted leaves, I can't even see his clothes. If he's wearing clothes, okay. The thought makes me hesitate a moment, but then I plunge in. Naked bodies are no big deal in the arena, right? No. I've got 2 water bottles and Rue's water skin. I prop them against rocks in the stream so that there are 2 are always filling while I pour the third over Peter's body. It takes a while, but I finally get rid of enough mud to find his clothes. I gently unzip his jacket, unbutton his shirt, and ease them off. His undershirt is so plastered into his wounds I have to cut away with my knife and drench him again to work it loose. He's badly bruised with a long burn across his chest and 4 tracker jacker stings. Damn, if you count the one under his ear. But I feel a bit better. This much I can fix. I decided to take care of his upper body first to alleviate some pain before I tackle whatever damage Kato did to his leg. Since treating his wounds seemed pointless when he's lying in what's become a mud puddle, I managed to prop him against a boulder. He sits there, uncomplaining, while I wash away all the traces of dirt from his hair and skin. His flesh is very pale in the sunlight, and he no longer looks strong and stocky. I have to dig the stingers out of his tracker jacker lumps, which cause him to wince. But the minute I apply the leaves, he sighs in relief. While he dries in the sun, I wash his filthy shirt and jacket and spread them over boulders. Then I apply the burn cream to his chest. This is when I notice how hot his skin is becoming. Oh, the layer of mud and the bottles of water have disguised the fact that he's burning with fever. I dig through the first aid kit and got from the boy from District 1 and find pills that reduce your temperature. My mother actually breaks down and buys these on occasion when her home remedies fail. Swallow these, I tell him, and he obediently takes the medicine. You must be hungry. Not really. It's funny, I haven't been hungry for days, says Peeta. In fact, I offer him Grusling. He wrinkles his nose as it turns away. That's when I know how sick he is. Peeta, we need to get some food in you, I insist. It'll just come right back up, he says. The best I can do is to get him to eat a few bits of dried apple. Thanks, I'm much better, really. Can I sleep now, Katniss? He asks. Soon, I promise. I need to look at your leg first. Trying to be as gentle as I can, I remove his boots, his socks, and then very slowly inch his pants off him. Gross. I can see the tear Cato's sword made in the fabric over his thigh, but in no way prepares me for what lies underneath. The deep inflamed gash oozing blood. Both blood and pus. The swelling of the leg, and worst of all, the smell of festering flesh. I want to run away. Not heal this guy. Disappear into the woods like I did that day they brought the burn victim to our house. Go and hunt while my mother and Prim attend to what I have neither the skill nor the courage to face. But there's no one here but me. I try to capture the calm demeanor my mother assumes when handling particularly bad cases. Pretty awful, huh? Says Peeta. He's watching me closely. So, I shrug like it's no big deal. You should see some of the people they bring my mother from the mines. I refrain from saying, so I usually clear out of the house whenever she's treating anything worse than a cold. Come to think of it, I don't even much like to be around coughing. First thing is to clean it well. Stop. Okay. My God. I've left on Peeta's undershorts because they're not in bad shape and I don't want to pull them over the swollen thigh. And alright, maybe the idea of him being naked makes me uncomfortable. That's another thing about my mother and Prim. Nakedness has no effect on them. Gives them no cause for embarrassment. Ironically, at this point in the games, my little sister would be far more used to Peeta than I am. I scoot my square of plastic under him so I can wash down the rest of him. With each bottle I pour over him, the worse the wound looks. The rest of his lower body has fared pretty well. Just one tracker jacker sting and a few small burns that I treat quickly. But the gash on his leg, what on earth can I do for that? Why don't we give it some air and then I trail off. And then you'll patch it up, says Peeta. He looks almost sorry for me as if he knows how lost I am. That's right, I say. In the meantime, you eat these. I put a few dried pear halves in his hand and go back in the stream to wash the rest of his clothes. When they're flattened out and drying, I examine the contents of the first aid kit. It's pretty basic stuff, bandages, a few pills, medicine to calm stomachs, nothing of the caliber I'll need to treat Peeta. We're going to have to experiment some, I admit. I know the Tracker Jacker leaves draw out infections, so I start with those. Within minutes of pressing the handful of chewed up green stuff into the wound, pus begins running down the side of his leg. I tell myself this is a good thing and bite the inside of my cheek hard because my breakfast is threatening to make a reappearance. Oh my god. Katniss, Peeta says. I meet his eyes, knowing my face must be some shade of green. He mouths the words, "How about that kiss?" while pus is coming out of your leg, dude. I burst out laughing because the whole thing is so revolting. I can't stand it. Something wrong? He asks a little too innocently. I'm not good at this. I'm not my mother. I have no idea what I'm doing, and I hate puss, I say. Ugh. I allow myself to let out a groan as I rinse away the first round of leaves and apply the second. Ugh. How do you hunt? He asks. Trust me, killing things is much easier than this, I said. Although, for all I know, I am killing you. Oh my god. Confirmed? Bro, she's killing him? Can you speed it up a little bit, he asks. No, shut up and eat your pears, I say. After 3 applications and what seems like bucket of pus, the wound does look a little better. Now that the swelling has gone down, I can see how deep Cato's sword cut. Right down to the bone. Oh no. What next, Dr. Everdeen, he asks. Maybe I'll put some of the burn ointment on it. I think it helps with infection anyway. And wrap it up, I say. I do, and the whole thing seems a lot more manageable, covered in clean white cotton, although against the sterile bandage, the hem of his undershorts look filthy and teeming with contagion. I pull out Rue's backpack. Here, cover yourself with this, and I'll wash your shorts. Oh, I don't care if you see me, says Peeta. You're just like the rest of my family, I say. I care, alright? I turn my back and look at the stream until the undershorts splash into the current. He must be feeling a bit better if he can throw. You know, you're kind of squeamish for such a lethal person, says Peeta as I beat the shorts clean between 2 rocks. I wish I could let you give Haymitch a shower after all. I wrinkle my nose at the memory. What's he sent you so far? Not a thing, says Peeta. Then there's a pause and he hits... as it hits him. Why? Did you get something? Oh, is he gonna be jealous? Is bro gonna be jealous right now? Burn medicine, I say, almost sheepishly. Oh, and some bread. I always knew you were his favorite, says Peeta. Please. He can't stand being in the same room with me, I say. Because you're just alike, mutters Peeta. I ignore it, though, because this really isn't the time for me to be insulting Haymitch, which is my first impulse. I let Peeta doze off while his clothes dry out, but by late afternoon I don't dare wait any longer. I gently shake his shoulder. Peeta, we've got to go now. Go? He seems confused. Go where? Away from here. Downstream, maybe. Somewhere we can hide you until you're stronger, I say. I help him dress, leaving his feet bare so he can walk in the water and pull him upright. His face drains of color in the moment he puts weight on his leg. Come on, you can do this. But he can't. Not for long, anyway. We make it about 50 yards downstream, with him propped up by my shoulder, and I can tell he's going to black out. I sit him on the bank, push his head between his knees, and pat his back awkwardly as I survey the area. Of course, I'd love to get him up in a tree, but that's not going to happen. It could be worse, though. Some of the rocks form small cave-like structures. I set my sights on one about 20 yards above the stream. When Pete is able to stand, I half guide, half carry him up to the cave. Really, I'd like to look around for a better place, but this one will have to do because my ally is shot. Paperwhite, panting, and even though it's only just cooling off, he's shivering. I cover the floor of the cave with a layer of pine needles, unroll my sleeping bag, and tuck him into it. I get a couple of pills and some water into him when he's not noticing, but he refuses to eat even the fruit. Then he just lies there, his eyes trained on my face as I build a sort of blind out of vines to conceal the mouth of the cave. The result is unsatisfactory. An animal might not question it, but a human would see hands had manufactured it quickly enough. I tear it down in frustration. Katniss, he says. I go over to him and brush the hair back from his eyes. Thanks for finding me. You would have found me if you could, I say. His forehead's burning up, like the medicine's having no effect at all. Suddenly, out of nowhere, I'm scared he's going to die. Yes, look, if I don't make it back, he begins. Don't talk like that. I didn't drain all that pus for nothing, I say. I know, but just in case I don't, he tries to continue. No, Peeta, I don't even want to discuss it, I say, placing my fingers on his lips to quiet him. But he insists impulsively. I lean forward and kiss him, oh God. Stopping his words, this is probably overdue anyway, since he's right. We are supposed to be madly in love. It's the first time I've ever kissed a boy, which should make some sort of impression, I guess, but all I can register is how unnaturally hot his lips are from the fever. I break away and pull the edge of the sleeping bag up around him. You're not gonna die. I forbid it, all right? All right, he whispers. I step out into the cool evening air just as the parachute floats down from the sky. My fingers quickly undo the tie, hoping for some real medicine to treat Peeta's leg. Instead, I find a pot of hot broth. Wow. Haymitch couldn't be sending me a clear message. 1 kiss equals 1 pot of broth. I can almost hear his snarl. You're supposed to be in love, sweetheart. The boy's dying. Give me something I can work with. And he's right. If I want to keep Peeta alive, I've got to give the audience something more to care about. Star-crossed lovers desperate to get home together, 2 hearts beating as one. Romance. Never having been in love, this is going to be a real trick. I think of my parents, the way my father never failed to bring her gifts from the woods, the way my mother's face would light up at the sound of his boots at the door, the way she almost stopped living when he died. Peeta, I say, trying for the special tone that my mother used only with my father. He dozed off again, but I kiss him awake, which seems to startle him. Then he smiles as if he'd be happy to lie there gazing at me forever. He's great at this stuff. I hold up the pot. Peeta, look what Haymitch has sent you. That was the end of chapter 19. Chapter 20. Okay, we're gonna bring out Buddy. Buddy, there you are. Turn on the TV. That button. Yes. Okay.
Peeta? Oh my God, you're alive! You can see me? Yeah. Thank you. Let's go.
Wait. Why are you limping?
I'm just tired. If you
Remember, don't listen to the haters, cause haters want to stop your queen shit and pour orange juice over the physical embodiment of your smut collection to bring you down. Hey Henry, I am multi-streaming also on TikTok. And we're on the last chapter of the stream, chapter 20.
like kind of carry me, yeah.
Okay.
So how have you been? What have you been up to?
How are you feeling? Is your headache okay?
Headache's fine. I haven't really been able to poop since I've gotten in here, so I'm kind of constipated.
Well, we'll get you some medicine.
Katniss, I don't get many parachutes. Okay, thank you.
Attention tributes, there's going to be a feast at the cornucopia tomorrow. Each of you really needs...
Okay. Chapter 20. Getting the broth into Peeta takes an hour of coaxing, begging, threatening, and yes, kissing. But finally, sip by sip, he empties the pot. I let him drift off to sleep and attend my own needs, wolfing down a supper of grusling and roots while I watch the daily report in the sky. No new casualties still. Peeta and I have given the audience a fairly interesting day. Hopefully, the game makers will allow us a peaceful night. I automatically look around for a good tree to nest in before I realize that's over. At least for a while. I can't very well leave PETA unguarded on the ground. I left the scene of his last hiding place on the bank of the stream untouched. How could I conceal it? And we're a scant 50 yards downstream. I put on my glasses, place my weapons in readiness, and settle down to keep watch. The temperature drops rapidly, and soon I'm chilled to the bone. Eventually, I give in and slide into the sleeping bag with PETA. Ooh, okay. It's toasty warm, and I snuggle down gratefully until I realize it's more than warm. It's overly hot because the bag is reflecting back his fever. I check his forehead and find it burning and dry. I don't know what to do. Leave him in the bag and hope the excessive heat breaks the fever. Take him out and hope the night air cools him off. I end up just dampening a strip of bandage and placing it on his forehead. It seems weak, but I'm afraid to do anything too drastic. I spend the night half sitting, half lying next to PETA, refreshing the bandage and trying not to dwell on the fact that by teaming up with him, I've made myself far more vulnerable than when I was alone. Tethered to the ground on guard with a very sick person to take care of, but I knew he was injured, and still I came after him. I'm just going to have to trust that whatever instinct sent me to find him was a good one. When the sky turns rosy, I notice the sheen of sweat on PETA's lip and discover the fever has broken. He's not back to normal, but it's come down a few degrees. Last night when I was gathering vines, I came upon a bush of rose berries. I strip off the fruit and mash it into the broth pot with cold water. PETA struggling to get up when I reach the cave. I woke up and you were gone, he says. I was worried about you. I have to laugh at ease as I ease him back down. You were worried about me? Have you taken a look at yourself lately? I thought Cato and Clove might have found you. They like to hunt at night, he says, still serious. Clove? Which one is that, I ask. The girl from District 2. She's still alive, right? He says. Yes, there's just them and us and Thresh and Foxface, I say. That's what I nicknamed the girl from 5. How do you feel? Better than yesterday. This is an enormous improvement over the mud, he says. Clean clothes and medicine in a sleeping bag. And you? Oh, right, the whole romance thing. I reach out and touch his cheek, and he catches my hand and presses against his lips. I remember my father doing this very thing to my mother, and I wonder where PETA picked it up. Surely not from his father and the witch. No more kisses for you until you've eaten, I say. We get him propped up against the wall, and he obediently swallows the spoonfuls of the berry mush I feed him. He refuses the gruesling again, though. You didn't sleep, PETA says. I'm alright, I say, but the truth is I'm exhausted. Sleep now. I'll keep watch. I'll wake you if anything happens, he says. I hesitate. Katniss, you can't stay up forever. He's got a point there. I'll have to sleep eventually, and probably better to do it now when it seems relatively alert, when he seems relatively alert, and we have daylight on our side. Alright, I say, but just for a few hours. Then you wake me. It's too warm for the sleeping bag now. I smooth it out on the cave floor and lie down, one hand on my loaded bow in case if I have to shoot at a moment's notice. PETA sits beside me, leaning against the wall, his bad leg stretched out before him, his eyes trained on the world outside. Go to sleep, he says softly. His hand brushes the loose strands of my hair off my forehead. Unlike the staged kisses and caresses so far, this gesture seems natural and comforting. I don't want him to stop, and he doesn't. He's still stroking my hair when I fall asleep. Too long. I slept too long. I know from the moment I opened my eyes that we're not into the afternoon. PETA's right beside me, his position unchanged. I sit up, feeling somehow defensive, but better rested than I've been in days. PETA, you were supposed to wake me after a couple of hours, I say. For what? Nothing's going on, he says. Besides, I like watching you sleep. Okay, PETA. Alright, cool. Noted. You don't scowl. Improves your looks a lot. Okay, we hate PETA. This, of course, brings on a scowl that makes him grin. That's when I notice how dry his lips are. I test his cheek, hot as a coal stove. He claims he's been drinking, but the containers still feel full to me. I give him more fever pills and stand over him while he drinks first one, then a second quarter of water. Then I tend to his minor wounds, the burns, the stings, which are showing improvement. I steel myself and unwrap the leg. My heart drops into my stomach. It's worse. Much worse. There's no more pus in evidence, but the swelling has increased and the tight, shiny skin is inflamed. Then I see the red streaks starting to crawl up his leg. Blood poisoning. Unchecked, it will kill him for sure. My chewed up leaves and ointments won't make a dent in it. We'll need strong anti-infection drugs from the capital. I can't imagine the cost of such potent medicine. If Hamish pulled every donation from every sponsor, would he have enough? I doubt it. Gifts go up in price the longer the games continue. What buys a full meal on one day, on day 1, buys a cracker on day 12. And the kind of medicine PETA needs would have been a premium from the beginning. Well, there's more swelling, but the pus is gone, I say, in an unsteady voice. I know what blood poisoning is, Katniss, says PETA, even if my mother isn't a healer. You're just going to have to outlast the others, PETA, says PETA. They'll cure it back at Capital when we win, I say. Yes, that's a good plan, he says, but I feel this is mostly for my benefit. You have to eat. Keep your strength up. I'm going to make you soup, I say. Don't light a fire, he says. It's not worth it. We'll see, I say. As I take the pot down the stream, I'm struck by how brutally hot it is. I swear, the game makers are progressively racketing up the temperature in the daytime and sending it plummeting at night, I bet. The heat of the sun-baked stones by the stream gives me an idea, though. Maybe I won't need to light a fire. I settle down on a big flat rock halfway between the stream and the cave. After purifying half a pot of water, I place it in direct sunlight and add several egg-sized hot stones in the water. I'm the first to admit I'm not much of a cook, but since the soup mainly involves tossing everything into a pot and waiting, it's not one of my better dishes. I mince grusling until it's practically mush and mash some of Rue's roots. Fortunately, they've both been roasted already, so they mostly need to be heated up. Already, between the sunlight and the rocks, the water's warm. I put in the meat and roots, swap in fresh rocks, and go find something green to spice it up a little. Before long, I discover a tuft of chives growing at the base of some rocks. Perfect. I chop them very fine and add them to the pot, switch out the rocks again, put on the lid, and let the whole thing stew. I actually want a cookbook. A Hunger Games cookbook. I want to try this too. I want to know what grusling is. I would love to have a cookbook where it says find random rocks in your backyard and like heat them up and throw them in a pot. Like it needs to be ideal like that. Like I need to help it out. Need to talk to like Jennifer Lawrence or some shit. Let's see. I've seen very few signs of game around, but I don't feel comfortable leaving PETA along while I hunt, so I rig half a dozen snares and hope I get lucky. I wonder about the other tributes, how they're managing now that their main sources of food have been blown up. At least 3 of them, Cato, Clove, and Foxface, have been relying on it. Probably not Thresh, though. I've got a feeling he must share some of Rue's knowledge on how to feed yourself from the earth. Are they fighting each other? Looking for us? Maybe one of them has located us and is just waiting for the right moment to attack. The idea sends me back to the cave. Pete is stretched out on the top of the sleeping bag in the shade of the rocks. Although he brightens a bit when I come in, it's clear he feels miserable. I put cool clothes on his head, but they warm up almost as soon as they touch his skin. Do you want anything? I ask. No, thank you. Wait, yes, tell me a story. A story? What story? I say. I'm not much of a storytelling. It's kind of like singing, but once in a while, Prim wheedles one out of me. Something happy. Tell me about the happiest day you could remember, says Peeta. Something between a sigh and a huff of expiration leaves my mouth. A happy story. This will require a lot of more effort than the soup. I rack my brains for good memories. Most of them involve Gale and me out hunting in somewhere. I don't think these will play well with either Peeta or the audience. That leaves Prim. Did I ever tell you about how I got Prim's goat? I ask. Peeta shakes his head and looks at me expectantly. So I begin, but carefully, because my words are going out all over Panem. And while people have no doubt put 2 and 2 together that I hunt illegally, I don't want to hurt Gale or Greasy Say, or the butcher, or even the peacekeepers back at home who are my customers by publicly announcing they're breaking the law too. Here's the real story of how I got the money for Prim's goat. Lady. It was a Friday evening, the day before Prim's 10th birthday in late May. As soon as school ended, Gale and I hit the woods because I wanted to get enough to trade for a present for Prim. Maybe some new cloth, or a dress, or a hairbrush. Our snares had done well enough and the woods were flush with greens, but this was really no more than our average Friday night haul. I was disappointed as we headed back, even though Gale said we'd be sure to do better tomorrow. We were resting a moment by a stream when we saw him, a young buck, probably a yearling by his size. His antlers were just growing in, still small and coated in velvet, poised to run, but unsure of us, unfamiliar with humans. Beautiful. Less beautiful perhaps when the 2 arrows caught him. Oh, one in the neck and the other in the chest. That's fucked up, guys. That is fucked up. Gale and I had shot at the same time. The buck tried to run, but stumbled, and Gale's knife slit his throat before he knew what had happened. Jesus Christ. Momentarily, I felt a pang at killing something so fresh and innocent and beautiful, and then my stomach rumbled at the thought of that fresh and innocent meat. Oh, God. A deer! Gale and I have only brought down 3 in all. The first one, a doe that had injured her leg somehow, almost didn't count. But we knew from that experience not to go dragging the carcass into the hob. It had caused chaos with people bidding on parts and actually trying to hack off pieces themselves. Greasy Say had intervened and sent us with our deer to the butcher, but not before it had been badly damaged. Hunks of meat taken, the hide riddled with holes. Although everyone paid up fairly, it had lowered the value of the kill. Jeez, dude. This time, we waited until dark fell and slipped under a hole in the fence close to the bunker. Even though we were known hunters, it wouldn't have been good to go carrying a 150-pound deer through the streets of 12 in the daylight, like we were rubbing it in the officials' faces. The butcher, a short, chunky woman named Ruba, came to the back door when we knocked. You don't haggle with Ruba. She gives you 1 piece, which you can take or leave, but it's a fair price. We took her offer on the deer, and she threw in a couple of venison steaks we could pick up after the butchering. Even with the money divided in 2, neither Gale nor I had held so much at the one time in our lives. We decided to keep it a secret and surprise our families with the meat and money at the end of the next day. This is where I really got the money for the goat, but I tell Peeta I sold an old silver locket of my mother's. That can't hurt anyone. Then I pick up the story in the later afternoon of Prim's birthday. Well, this is where I really... Gale and I went to the market on the square so that I could buy dress materials. As I was running my fingers over a length of thick blue cotton cloth, something caught my eye. There's an old man who keeps a small herd of goats on the other side of the seam. I don't know his real name. Everyone just calls him the Goat Man. Oh, okay. The Goat Man. His joints are swollen and twisted in painful angles, and he's just got hacking cough that proves he spent years in the mines. But he's lucky. Somewhere along the way, he saved enough for these goats, and now he has something to do in it. He has something to do in his old age besides slowly starve to death. He's filthy and impatient, but the goats are clean and their milk is rich if you can afford it. One of the goats, a white one with black patches, was lying down in a cart. It was easy to see why. Something, probably a dog, had mauled her shoulder and infection had set in. It was bad. The Goat Man had to hold her up to milk her, but I thought I knew someone who could fix that. Gale, I whisper, I want that goat for Prim. Owning a nanny goat can change your life in District 12. The animals can live off almost anything. The meadow is a perfect feeding place, and they can give 4 quarts of milk a day. To drink, to make into cheese, to sell. It's not even against the law. She's hurt pretty bad, says Gale. We better take a closer look. We went over and bought a cup of milk to share, then stood over the goat as if idly curious. Let her be, says the Goat Man. Just looking, says Gale. Well, look fast. She goes to the butcher soon. Hardly anyone will buy her milk, and then they only pay half price, said the Goat Man. What's the butcher giving for her, I ask. The Goat Man shrugged. Hang around and see. I turned and saw Ruba coming across the square toward us. Lucky thing you showed up, said the Goat Man when she arrived. Girl's got her eye on your goat. Not if she's spoken for, I said carelessly. Ruba looked at me and down, then frowned at the goat. She's not. Look at that shoulder. Bet you half the carcass will be too rotten for even sausage. What? Said the Goat Man. We had a deal. We had a deal on an animal with a few teeth marks. Not that thing. Sell her to the girl if she's stupid enough to take her, said Ruba. As she marched off, I caught her wink. The Goat Man was mad, but he still wanted that goat off his hands. It took us half an hour to agree on the price. Quite a crowd had gathered by then to hand out opinions. It was an excellent deal if the goat lived. I'd been robbed if she died. People took sides in the argument, but I took the goat. What are we thinking about this? 3-minute ads for a fucking reading stream? Go fuck yourself. The Goat Man was mad. The Goat Man was mad, but he still wanted that goat off his hands. It took us half an hour to agree on the price. Quite a crowd. Oh, yeah. Gale offered to carry her. I think he wanted to see the look on Prim's face as much as I did. In a moment of complete giddiness, I bought a pink ribbon and tied it around her neck. Then we hurried back to my house. You should have seen Prim's reaction when we walked in with that goat. Remember, this is a girl who wept to save that awful old cat, Buttercup. She was so excited she started crying and laughing at once. My mother was less sure, seeing the injury, but the pair of them went to work on it, grinding up herbs and coaxing brews down the animal's throat. They sound like you, says Peeta. I had almost forgotten he was there. Remembering about the Goat Man. No, that's not a joke. I know, I'm sorry. Oh no, Peeta. Oh wait. I almost forgot he was there. Oh no, Peeta. They work magic. The thing couldn't have died if he tried, I say. But then I bite my tongue, realizing what that must sound like to Peeta, who is dying in my incompetent hands. Don't worry, I'm not trying, he jokes. Finish the story about the Goat Man. Well, that's it. Only I remember that night, Prim insisted on sleeping with Lady on the blanket next to the fire, and just before they drifted off, the goat licked her cheek like it was giving her a goodnight kiss or something, I say. It was already mad about her. Was it still wearing the pink ribbon, he asks. I think so, I say. Why? I'm just trying to get a picture, he says thoughtfully. I can see why the day made you happy. Well, I knew that goat would be a little gold mine, I say. Yes, of course. I was referring to that. Not the lasting joy you gave the sister you loved so much you took her place in the reaping, says Peeta drily. Nice callback. Nice. Well, it wouldn't dare to do anything else after you saved its life, says Peeta. Oh, wait. The goat has paid for itself, several times over, I say in a superior tone. Well, it wouldn't dare do anything else after you saved its life, says Peeta. I intend to do the same thing. Really? What did you cost me again, I asked. A lot of trouble. Don't worry. You'll get it all back, he says. You're not making sense, I say. I test his forehead. The fever's going nowhere but up. You're a little cooler, though. She's lied to him. You're not making any sense, I say. I test his forehead. The fever is going nowhere but up. You're a little cooler, though. The sound of the trumpet startles me. I'm on my feet and at the mouth of the cave in a flash, not wanting to miss a syllable. It's my new best friend, Claudius Templesmith, and I expected he's inviting us to a feast. Well, we're not that hungry, and I actually wave his offer away in indifference. When he says, "Now hold on, some of you may already be declining my invitation, but this is no ordinary feast. Each of you needs something desperately. I do need something desperately, something to heal Peeta's leg. Each of you will find that something in a backpack, marked with your district number, at the cornucopia at dawn. Think hard about refusing to show up. For some of you, this will be your last chance," says Claudius. There's nothing else, just his words hanging in the air. I jump as Peeta grips my shoulder from behind. "No," he says. "You're not risking your life for me." "Who said I was?" I say. "So you're not going?" he asks. "Of course I'm not going. Give me some credit. Do you think I'm running straight into some free-for-all against Cato and Clove and Thresh? Don't be stupid," I say, helping him back to bed. "I'll let them fight it out. We'll see who's in the sky tomorrow night and work out our plan from there." "You're such a bad liar, Katniss. I don't know how you're survived this long." He begins to mimic me. "I knew that goat would be a little gold mine. You're a little cooler, of course. I'm not going." He shakes his head. "Never gamble at cards. You'll lose your last coin," he says. Anger flushes my face. "All right, I'm going, and you can't stop me. I can follow you, at least part way. I may not make it to the cornucopia, but if I'm yelling your name, I bet someone can find me, and then I'll be dead for sure," he says. Dude's a bitch. This dude's kind of an asshole. Okay. You won't get 100 yards from here on that leg, I say. "Then I'll drag myself," says Peeta. "You go, and I'm going too." He's just stubborn enough and maybe just strong enough to do it. Come howling after me in the woods. Even if a tribute doesn't find him, something else might. He can't defend himself. I'd probably have to wall him up in the cave just to go myself. And who knows what the exterior exertion will do to him. What am I supposed to do? Sit here and watch you die, I say? He must know that's not an option, that the audience would hate me. And frankly, I would hate myself too, if I didn't even try. "I won't die, I promise. If you promise not to go." We're at some sort of stalemate. I know I can't argue him out of this one, so don't try. I pretend, reluctantly, to go along. Then you have to do what I say. Drink your water, wake me when I tell you, and eat every bite of the soup no matter how disgusting it is, I snap at him. Agreed. Is it ready? He asks. Wait here, I say. The air has gone cold even though the sun's still up. Oh, shit. I'm right about the game makers messing with the temperature. Right. I wonder if the thing someone needs desperately is a good blanket. The soup is still nice and warm in its iron pot, and actually doesn't taste too bad. Peeta eats without complaint, even scrapping out the pot to show his enthusiasm. He rambles on about how delicious it is, which should be encouraging if you don't know what fever does to people. He likes listening to Hamish before the alcohol has soaked him into incoherence. I give him another dose of fever medicine before he goes off in his head completely. As I go down to the stream to wash up, all I can think is that he's going to die if I don't get to that feast. I'll keep him going for a day or two, and then the infection will reach his heart, or his brain, or his lungs, and he'll be gone. And I'll be here all alone again, waiting for the others. I'm so lost in thought that I almost miss the parachute, even though it floats right by me. Then I spring after it, yanking it from the water, tearing it off the silver fabric to retrieve the vial. Hamish has done it. He's gotten the medicine. I don't know how, persuaded some gaggle of romantic fools to sell their jewels, and I can save PETA. It's such a tiny vial, though. It must be very strong to cure someone as ill as PETA. A ripple of doubt runs through me, though. I uncork the vial and take a deep sniff. My spirits fall at the sickly sweet scent. Just to be sure, I place a drop on the tip of my tongue. There's no question. It's sleep syrup. It's a common medicine in District 12. Cheap as medicine goes, but very addictive. Almost everyone's had a dose at one time or another. We have some in the bottle at home. My mother gives it to hysterical patients to knock them out, to stitch up a bad wound, or quiet their minds, or just help someone in pain get through the night. It only takes a little. A vial this size can knock PETA out for a full day. But what good is that? I'm so furious I'm about to throw Hamish's last offering into the stream when it hits me. A full day? That's more than I need. I mash up a handful of berries so the taste won't be as noticeable, and add some mint leaves for good measure. Then I head back to the cave. I've brought you a treat. I found a new patch of berries a little farther downstream. PETA opens his mouth for the first bite without hesitation. He swallows, then frowns slightly. They're very sweet. Yes, they're sugar berries. My mother makes jam from them. Haven't you ever had them before? I say, poking the next spoonful in his mouth. No, he says, almost puzzled, but they taste familiar. Sugar berries? Well, you can't get them in the market much. They only grow wild, I say. Another mouthful goes down. Just one more to go. They're sweet as syrup, he says, taking the last spoonful. Syrup. His eyes widen and realizes the truth. I clamp my hand over his mouth and nose hard, forcing him to swallow instead of spit. He tries to make himself vomit the stuff up, but it's too late. He's already losing consciousness. Jesus. Ugh. Even as he fades away, I can see in his eyes what I've done is unforgivable. I sit back on my heels and look at him with a mixture of sadness and satisfaction. A stray berry stains his chin, and I wipe it away. Who can't lie, PETA? I say, even though he can't hear me. It doesn't matter. The rest of Pan Am can. Chapter 21. Kind of fuck with heel pull? Yeah. I need to play like... Hopefully I can load up a match as Deadpool. Okay, we'll see how this...
Something, and we will provide it. But nothing bad will happen. Okay, you should come.
Your medicine.
Katniss, no.
You would do it for me, PETA.
I'm not letting you go out there. It's not worth it.
Okay. Fine, I won't.
You'll stay?
Yeah, I'm staying. I'm literally doing it right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, just...
Rocky bed. Rocky bed.
Yep, okay.
Rocky bed. This is good. Oh, wait. Did you fall asleep already?
Where's the shit? Where's the shit? Where's the shit?
Okay. We are going to end the stream here. Yeah, we are on chapter 21, and by the dramatization of of Hungry Games but better, it looks like we only have less than 10 minutes to go, which is nice. I don't know how many chapters we have left, but we're on like the end. 21. Oh wait. Ooh. It doesn't end at chapter 30. Okay, I think next. Should we finish it? I think next time we read this, we're gonna finish the book. Because it doesn't end at like chapter 30 or something. So, yeah, we'll do the finale later on. But yeah, this was the first multi-stream. Sorry it was like in the middle of a book. Hopefully you guys fuck with the style, the room, and everything. Thank you all so much for the likes. 2,187, hell yeah. We're gonna say bye to Buddy. Bye, Buddy. Oh wait. Oh, I have not been maintaining. Oh no, I have been. Okay. Yeah. I'm still not used to the whole vertical and OBS. It's like slightly different. But yeah, this is Buddy. You know, this is Buddy, our guy. We love him. He helps out with the movie. Okay. Well, hold on. Ending soon. Boop. And then, oh, I didn't add the ending soon for vertical. Okay. Well, you guys on TikTok, I hope you had a good time. This is me live and everything. And I will see you later. Bye-bye. Okay. And for Twitch, y'all have a good night. I'll have to see what I'm doing tomorrow night. I got some plans here and there, but we'll do something. Alrighty. Y'all have a good night. I should be live tomorrow, relatively like 10 p.m. or whatever. We'll see. Alright. Bye-bye.